Hmm. Hi, it's Donna Brooks with Original Body Wisdom to give you some more breathing tips for COVID-19 and for life in general. And I was talking in the previous video about how our rib cage is really filled with lung, and not everyone realized that. So I wanted to just take a quick look at this picture because that blue is your diaphragm. And so you can see that there are organs underneath your diaphragm and lungs on top of your diaphragm. So your diaphragm is not exactly at the bottom of your rib cage, and this picture shows you quite nicely where your diaphragm is. And to just realize that your lungs are actually above the diaphragm. In another video, we'll get to the place where the diaphragm connects to your spine. Very, very important in breathing. And when you breathe, you really want to feel the lungs in your body. So what I have here is my little skeleton to kind of show you the depth. So he's just a little skeleton. But if you can picture where that diaphragm just was, and then realize that there are lungs all the way in the back. So this whole area in here is lung. And that's kind of a crazy idea for most people because we think of our lungs in our chest and maybe around our armpits, not necessarily. And in this area of your lungs, you have these alveoli, which are like little sacs of connective tissue that basically allow the oxygen from your bronchial passageways to get diffused into capillaries so that that blood can go to your heart. And then blood that's coming from your heart can go into the alveoli and get discharged into the world. And part of perhaps what we're seeing with COVID-19 is that that alveoli function is not, it's just being attacked. So I don't really know if feeling into our alveoli will have a profound effect if any of us do come down with COVID-19. And I know that you can feel that movement if you go deeply enough into your body. So this video, I'm not going to take a lot of time to find all the different lobes of your lungs, but I am going to ask you to put your hands someplace where you feel like you have lung. It can be definitely in the back here too, if you could reach, or you could just let your imagination come back here. And just for a moment or so, we don't have to spend a long time with this, but just for a moment or so, see if you can imagine. Remember, imagination is what takes us into feeling. So see if you can imagine that there are little tiny bunches of grapes that turn into raisins deep in your lungs. So I don't know if any of you remember Mrs. Frizzle and the Magic School Bus, which I read to my kids a lot when they were young. But Mrs. Frizzle was able to shrink the school bus and the students so they could go inside the body. And that's what I'm asking you to do. I'm asking you to suspend your normal thinking so that you could open the possibility of feeling that you've got this movement happening in your lungs, not from what we think of as the lungs themselves, sort of these sacs that expand and contract. And that is a valid movement. But right now we're going to go a little deeper, and I just want you to see if you can feel like there's a condensing, the way a raisin condenses to allow carbon dioxide and other waste to move out. And then there's a rebound, and there's an elasticity in those alveoli, and they absorb the oxygen, and then that will allow the oxygen to go through the membrane and meet up with capillaries in your lungs. So just a quick little possibility, and get in touch with me, originalbodywisdom.com. Contact me on my website. We do longer explorations in classes and one-on-one sessions. I'd love to hear from you. Take care.